Oh, I'm live. I'm gonna change my output so that it's not echoing. Boom. Okay. Well, that was abrupt. Uh, I guess I'm live now. Okay, cool. So, sorry, my back itches. I meant to give like a timer or something so that I could, like, turn stuff off. I tried to hook up like my guitars and stuff, and then I was like, wait a minute, no, I gotta do something else. So let's let's travel back in time, okay? And like, I mean, a decent ways back in time, all the way back, sometime about a year ago, to a live stream I did where I read. Actually, what I ended up doing was like I had some very interesting philosophical debates with Halden, and you know what? I'm gonna tell Halden that I'm live streaming now, because he's probably the only one that will watch. Live streaming. Oh, wait. How about I tell my group chat, Torment and Suffering? That's the group chat that I'm in. I also have a Discord, by the way. I don't know how to invite people to it, but I just wanted to let you know that there is a T-shirt industry Discord, and I'm also on Instagram and Facebook at that's not at, that's Twitter. Uh, my name on Instagram and on Facebook is Bimgischin. I'm the only Bimgischin as far as I'm aware. That's also my Xbox live gamer tag. Not that anybody plays Xbox, at least that I am friends with, that would play with me, because I don't actually have Xbox Live because I'm not paying for a subscription at the moment. But anyway, the second part, the greatest story ever told. Okay, so let's go back in time. Literally, let's go back to a time when I was doing these live streams quite frequently because there was nothing else I could do. God, Halden, you got back with me quite quickly. Oh goodness, that's what he says. So, without further delay, let's my own live streams in my recommended. That's nice. Oh, that's right. I still got the stupid freaking thumbnail. Uh, we're gonna go to my channel, and we're going to put me up in a corner like that. So now you can see my lovely face, and you can see everything on my screen. And you'll notice this is an unfamiliar computer screen. That's because I have a new computer. That's cool. So everything's running slow right now, but that's okay. We're gonna go back in time um, to this live stream, presenting to you an audio journal of the greatest story, or the greatest literary work of all time. Of course, the description is beans. Uh, I don't care about what I'm saying here. I care about where I ended. So we're going to go right here. And we're going to continue this amazing story. Okay, that's all I need to know. I don't know why I was trying to be the honest trailers guy, but that's what it sounds like. Um, just do this right here. Again, I'm on Instagram at BimgisChin. Actually, yeah, I'm Mike from the T-shirt industry is my name, but you'll find me if you look up BimgisChin. So I'm going to make a post really quick. Alright, welcome to the live stream. Hello, this is me, Jaden, Mike, whatever. I'm from the T-shirt industry. I'm on YouTube, and I'm live streaming right now. Right now, actually. This is as with all my other live streams. It's a horribly long intro. And that's really all of my videos. Basically, listen to my live stream if you want to hear me tell the greatest literary work ever written. Ever. Alright. Okay. So, to catch you up, if you don't remember what happened, this is a Google document that me and Jaden and Jake and Halden, who are the 4 people that really worked hard on this channel. This is a story that we wrote before this channel even existed, and we would write it together. We would throw random plot twists in. We never finished it. It's like, how many pages is this? 26 pages long. I don't remember how far I got. I'm not going to do a horrible voice. Let's see. There's oh yeah, there's speaking in italics. That was the thing. But basically, right now what has happened is we were, myself and Jaden Gage, Scotty McLaughlin, we were both bored. Okay? And because we were bored, he biked to my house, and then it exploded. And after my house exploded, we ended up in the woods. We were stuck in a tree. It was awful. He fell out. Actually, I think we both fell out of the tree, but he got more hurt than I did. I was kind of fine. If I didn't fall, I should really expect that, because in this story, he takes a lot of the crap and I don't. But he fell into a magical mushroom, not to be confused with a magic mushroom, and that was a cuddle mushroom that hugs him to death. And I had to save him from that. But I think he was unconscious, and somehow between the cuddle mushroom and me saving him, he ended up getting sucked into a portal that led to another dimension. But I didn't know that. I just thought, I tried to wake him up in a lake, and I thought I drowned him, I think is what ended up happening. And I got kidnapped by a bunch of psychic clowns. He ended up joining a taco religion, which was, you know, you do you, buddy. We meet each other because somehow these psychic clowns and a couple other things managed to cause reality to collapse onto itself, and every alternate universe to become dumped onto the second Earth, so Earth 2 in Flash terms. I was trapped in the Five Nights at Freddy's pizzeria. Jaden Gage had to save me, and Halden was Foxy for some reason. It's not surprising, honestly. And then we discover that the actual physical beings of us, not these characters in a story, because in this story, Jaden Gage and myself are characters. We are simply red and green words written onto a Google document piece of paper. But at that point in the story, we discover that the physical me, myself, the person you're looking at right now, the real actual me, has been somehow kidnapped and sucked into the story. So I, from personal experience, am actually in this story. And so is Jaden Gage, the real Jaden Gage, who played the great, awesome, noble Mercinator. He is also trapped in that story. This is something we both experienced together. And we were going to be killed by, essentially, Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls. Although I didn't know it at the time, I just decided I liked the Illuminati guy with a top hat. And now that I've watched the show, I think it's that much funnier. But now we have to save ourselves, because if the character versions of us don't save the real life, this story never continues, and thus everyone in the story dies. Reality collapses. There is nothing. So this is the story of how I and Jaden got saved by ourselves, our fictional selves, in a story we were writing at the same time as we were kidnapped by the people in the story. This was my uncle's idea. So anyway, I'm going to check and see if anybody's actually watching this live stream, and we will get going. I'm going to turn this down. Anybody watching? Oh, hey Jessa, you're here. Sweet. Who else is watching? I can't see who's watching. I don't know how many people are watching right now. So just comment if you're watching. Okay. Shoot, I forgot. Let's see. Shoot! I already forgot what part of the story I was at. Oh. If that's not the part of the story I was at, then I've spoiled it already. That sucks. Alright. LOL, let's get out of here. Okay. Where's the LOL, let's get out of here? King of the Illuminati will hereby be referred to as Bill Cipher. Here we go. LOL, let's get out of here. Okay, here we go. So Jaden and I are on... What are we on? We're riding on something. Shamu, Umi Lumi, Macaroni, work please. I need 7-car batteries, Doritos, bacon, for luck, of course, mini rocket launchers, and a dead unicorn. That's right, I had a dead unicorn. Okay, so we're riding a unicorn with rocket launchers. And we stole a guy's prosthetic lips. So, without further delay, after 11 minutes of me rambling, let us begin. We proceeded to jump on the unicorn and fly over to the sea in a flash. And in 6 seconds, we were on the other side of the world, above the temple of the Mid-Atlantic Ocean Clan. Asps, devils of the ground. You go first, I said. Now, if any of you are uncultured, and you wouldn't know, that is a quote from one of the greatest movies of all time, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Just putting that out there. Fine, I will go first, since I have the taco staff, Jaden said, rolling his eyes as he proceeded to lower himself with a line of jumper cables from the previous contraption we made. In fact, they were still charged, which caused him to fall down 10 feet and almost killed him. Well, you know, it's only 20 blocks of... Yeah, 20 blocks will kill you in Minecraft, not 10. That's sus. What? Okay, I'm gonna have to restart his part and then try to get through the aneurysm that is this specific sentence. Fine, I will go first since I have the taco staff, Jaden said, rolling his eyes as he proceeded to lower himself with the line of jumper cables from the previous contraption we made. In fact, these jumper cables were somehow still charged, which shocked him, causing him to fall down 10 feet and almost killed him. I find my lack of no pain is quite disturbing, Jaden said, barely even audible. I find my lack of no pain is quite disturbing. See? Everything's alright. No pain, no nothing. Just get the burnt chicken and come back up in 30 seconds. I said, oblivious of the fact that he could actually be hurt. But what if there's an army of headless zombie chickens? Jaden asked. Look, if you die, walk it off, I replied. Somebody has sent me a message. I will answer that later. Whatever, man. Anyway, Jaden proceeded to limp down the temple stairs and to find the burnt chicken of the Mid-Atlantic Ocean clam, sitting inside a clam on a pillar. He grabbed the chicken, and as he predicted, the pillar slowly descended into the ground, and out of nowhere, headless zombie chickens started running out of the wall. He ran, tucking the chicken under one arm. Meanwhile, safe and sound, admiring my toenails, I was still sitting on my unicorn while humming the song that never ends. Jaden continued to limp his way up the stairs, still clutching the chicken. He reached the last step and tripped. The zombie chickens now closing it. Hold on, we need a soundtrack for the suspense. I don't know if I'll be able to do this. Jaden continued to limp his way up the stairs, still clutching the chicken. He reached the last step and tripped. The zombie chickens, now closing in on him, have grown to the size of trash cans and prepared to inject their venom into him. He yelled at me to get off my unicorn and help him. Alright, man, hang on to your chimichangas! I proceeded to perform a daring and slightly dangerous maneuver to rescue Jaden and prepare for the jump back to the main battle. The Twix Bars! And then we were off. As Jaden looked back towards the temple, he noticed that the headless zombie chickens were now the size of asteroids and were proceeding to chase us. In an instant, we were back at Freddy's. When we looked at the timer, we only had 7 minutes left. We must eat the chicken now! What does this thing even do to us? Jaden Gage asked. Lord Taco spoke up. Well, I may have just said that for the fun of it. I don't remember anyone's voices. What do you mean, you poo? Jaden spoke up. Never mind what he just said. If it was heavily guarded, it must be good for something. At that moment, we ate the chicken. And suddenly, a large, swirly yellow and green lightning tornado appeared around us, and a voice from the tornado said,
I am Jake, God of video games and all things technology, and the football team called grant you the powers of strength, flight, and teleportation.
And then the tornado left, and we were on the podium with Bill Cipher and the other us's. I can't do the Bill Cipher voice, but I will attempt to embarrass myself. You will not save yourselves! Nope, I'm not even gonna try. King Illuminati shouted. Says you, said I, and the battle between us and Bill Cipher began. As usual, Jaden pulled out the taco staff and the box of secrecy. He reached in and pulled out an air freshener machine gun. Well, that's not going to help unless he's allergic to air freshener, Jaden commented. What is in my mouth? My mustache hair is in my mouth. Yuck. At that moment, it disappeared and was in the hands of King Illuminati himself. Then, Jaden pulled something else out. It's a rubber chicken. Who invented this stupid box? Jaden yelled angrily. At that moment, he remembered his training on how to send in a giant taco from outer space. He started saying the magical phrase, Poodle, oh poodle, come out of the sky like a heavenly frog with diabetes. Are you kidding me? Bro, I don't even know what's happening in the... Okay, I've not been paying attention to the live stream, which only has one person watching, and somebody else should watch. Okay. I gotta do this again. Let's see if I can get a magical soundtrack. Poodle, oh poodle, come out of the sky like a heavenly frog with diabetes. Then the giant taco came rushing in and hit King Illuminati approximately where his crotch would be. He fell out of the sky with a boom. Frog with diabetes. You mean sweet frog. Okay. With a boom, King Illuminati is immediately vaporized by the pain and has therefore ceased to exist. Our other us's were now free of their bonds because the Triangle people did not have a leader, and therefore will also vaporize Phantom Menace style by the lack of leadership. The us's who were riding decided to pull out a pen and paper and proceeded to write everything back into its proper existence on Earth 1. Then, wait, did this exist at the same time as the YouTube channel? Because we called them Mike and Scotty. I guess it did. Okay. Mike and Scotty, who are the real us's, myself and Jaden Gage, me right now, decided to thank us, our fictional selves. Thank you ever so kindly, my good gentlemen, but the battle is far from over. Though we have vanquished the giant stink bugs for the benefit of the Taco Brothers, we must still end the reign of the psychic clowns, so that we may return to our world to torment. Finish writing your story. I, Mike, said solemnly. We all reappeared at the place where Jaden was abducted by the portal. Jaden looked around to make sure that there were no more random catastrophes happening around us. And, to my wish, there was none. Bro, we wrote this like a long time ago. And he wrote everything not present tense. Yeah, he wrote everything present tense and I wrote everything past tense. And so it's made everything very confusing. Oh, you can't even see that I have a guitar. That's freaking awesome. Okay. So there's no catastrophes. So, where is this evil lair of the clowns that kidnapped you? Jaden asked. Somewhere around here. It's definitely somewhere, but since I was blindfolded the whole way to it, I don't actually know. However, I do know it was in a mountain, so it has to be around here. Why don't we just ask Scotty and Mike to write us a portal to get there ourselves? If they can even do that. Oh, hey, we can. Alright, let's see. Portal, magic, Alakazamo! Ah, stuff! I missed a part. Alakazamo! Suddenly, we were both inside, without anything to fight off the giant clown horde. Ah, stuff! I said. Exactly, but remember, I've got the flipping taco staff! Jaden mentioned? That's not a mention. Just then, Howden, also known as Foxy, walked into the room. I repeat, stuff! And without any warning, purple and yellow lightning appeared, and this time I, not Jaden, was taken to another random place, and who knows where on Earth, or what Earth at all, that was. This time, the entire world around me was black. Nothing but blackness and silence. And then it wasn't. Then, it was like a giant TV screen was in front of me, blaring a sign that said, "Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this beauty?"
Welcome to Weird Al World, where all of your parody dreams come true.
I don't have an echo. Then the screen exploded, revealing what was about to be either the best or worst alternate Earth in existence. Everywhere in sight were buildings all shaped like the face of Weird Al, covered in posters, billboards, and colorful crayon drawings featuring every song Weird Al had ever written. The one closest to me blared my thoughts exactly. This is the life. I don't know why I'm looking at the microphone. I've been looking at the camera. Okay. Dude, I don't even remember half the Weird Al songs, so I'm going to just make stuff up, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, now this is Jaden Gage's perspective. Poof! And now Jaden is gone again, leaving me with some more crap to deal with. Foxy and the Psychic Clown all approach him and his taco staff. All of a sudden, the large, swirly yellow tornado of lightning appears in the middle of the room. As soon as it disappears, the Brotherhood of the Taco appear in the room. How the heck are you here? I didn't even call for you. And how the heck did you even get here from another dimension? Long story, said Lord Taco. They started to clean up the giant mess of psychic clowns with their taco staffs, and they tied up Howden. They started to question the guy, when suddenly an alien fleet of UFOs came flying in and blew up the top of the roof to nothingness. Scotty and Mike then appeared next to them and just stood there and looked at us. Is this your doing? I asked. Well, we thought we might... Good God, who's even talking? Okay. Well, we thought you might need some help, so we sent in the Brotherhood to help you before it appeared. This next sentence is basically Jaden Gage's life story as it comes to me. Great. I hope Jaden is in a worse condition. And why does this always happen to me? As he stood there in despair, Scotty walked up to him and whispered something in his ear. Well, it wouldn't make you sense. It wouldn't... words. It wouldn't make sense if we didn't let you have flying unicorns to destroy these freaks. Is this really happening? Yes, Jaden, it is. Meanwhile, in another dimension, I had come to the conclusion that Weird Al Land was the most awesome dimension that could exist. They would play whatever song you chose whenever you wanted. So I decided they should constantly play Dare to Be Stupid because that song is hilarious. I knew I had to leave, though, as Jaden no doubt needed my help. I couldn't stay here forever, at any rate. Since I would get very bored and eventually die from all the randomness, I decided to go to the king of Weird Al Land, who was the most muscular of them all. So they all looked like Weird Al, and so he was the only real distinct one there. Everybody was Weird Al, but he was just a muscular one. And I asked if I could leave. It went something like this. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Great king, put down your chainsaw and listen to me. I would like to ask him, it's time for us to join into the fight. I don't know how to sing this. And if I might add, if I could bring some, it's time to let your babies grow up to be cowboys. It's time to let the bed bugs bite. Does that go with you? Oh, I can't do a Weird Al voice. I'm not even going to try. Well, let's see. I think you better put all your eggs in one basket. And furthermore, you better count your chickens before they hatch. And that part of the question is downright, you better sell some wine before it's time. So my answer is, you better find an itch to scratch. He paused a bit before shouting, can someone dare to be turn off that stupid song? Okay. That was an experience. Suddenly, all of the sound went out, and I realized my ears were ringing. The next part of the conversation sounded like this. Okay? What? Oh, your ears were probably ringing. I just said no. There's violence. There's a reason I'm doing. Alright. Your ears were probably ringing. I just said no. What? Yeah, nobody leaves here after it happened. The king stared off into the distance for a while, looking very sad. Anyway, you made me sad after thinking of it. So now we're going to torture you. Yeesh, that's harsh. All I did was ask if I could leave. And then you bring in the Spanish Inquisition. Didn't expect that. All of a sudden, all the doors burst open. And the Spanish Inquisition burst into the room. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition, the general shouted. I stood there, very confused. They were right. I didn't expect the Spanish Inquisition. Come, sinner child, confess, confess, and then we'll not torture you. And with that, they marched me into a small chamber underneath the Weird Al Palace. We accuse you with the act of heresy on the highest grounds toward the church. Repent of your sins and confess, or we will torture you. I'm sorry. Good, you confess. But I didn't do anything to the church. I made King Weird Al, slightly, completely annoyed at me. Fine then, we will commence. Bring out the soft pillow, da da da, and poke him with it. Half the army fainted at the name of the soft pillow. Bum bum bah! And 2 men from the other half left with trembling knees to get it. They returned with a rather comfy-looking pillow and proceeded to prod my ribs with it, softly, and shout, "Confess!" over and over again. Nothing? No screams? Fine then! We will have to get messy. Bring out... He paused for an intended cool effect that never came, and continued, the comfy chair! No! A soldier shouted. Not the comfy chair! 6 more soldiers left, and after an hour they dragged in a large, ugly-looking, comfortable chair. Then they forced me into it, making sure that I sat in the most comfy position, and shouted, Confess! And if you don't, we will leave you here all day with only a cup of coffee for lunch and a ham sandwich. Confess! The whole day went by pretty much just like that. Pointless weapons that didn't do anything at all, and were used on me to no avail. They didn't even know what they were torturing me for, which in and of itself was torture enough to me. It wasn't very nice. I looked to the ceiling and shouted, I need some help. Somebody please remove these creeps from my presence. Suddenly, a large blue, white, and black tornado swirling above my head. Started swirling above my head, and all the Spanish Inquisition was knocked down to the ground. A tall, blonde male figure dressed in Carolina Panthers garb, completed with a cape, stared down at me from the heavens and boomed,
I am Noah, God of all things Panthers. I give you the strength of Cam Newton and take away the ability to not be in the Super Bowl for multiple years in a row.
Suddenly, I felt my muscles grow bigger. I grew stronger and taller. And my pepperoni pizza wrap cantaloupe of an... What? Okay. This was back when I had to go on a diet. Because apparently sugar and bread made me have this rash that essentially made me look like a pepperoni pizza at all times. Or a cantaloupe. So anyway, now that you have the context, suddenly I felt my muscles grow bigger. I grew stronger and taller, and my pepperoni pizza wrap cantaloupe of an ab looked like pepperoni pizza wrap 9-pack abs. I stood tall and hit my head on the ceiling, ready to take on the Spanish Inquisition and ready to escape from Weird Al Land. Back on Earth, half of the Brotherhood was destroyed by the alien invasion, and were being cornered on all sides by aliens and pizza UFOs. Mike pulled out a pen and paper and summoned waffle people from the dimension of food. Out of the sky came a swarm of pancakes with abs. We have now come to the conclusion that waffles are simply pancakes with abs. The size of beach balls. They begin to rip apart the UFOs and devour the aliens in the most gory way. I feel like... Hold on. I feel like we can't talk about waffles eating... pancakes with abs devouring aliens in a gory way without, like, a Doom music. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I just figure we've got a soundtrack. We might as well take advantage of it. Do I have a pick? How long's this live stream been going? Whatever. There we go. There we go. And this is gonna keep going if I can. Wait, I have a loop. Oh. I have a loop. I just realized I can, like, have this going in the background. Alright. Ready? Back on Earth, half the Brotherhood is now destroyed by the alien invasion. And now we are being... God, I don't even know how to read. Where were we? They began to rip apart the UFOs and devour the aliens in the most gory way. Minute by minute, more and more aliens kept being shipped to the scene by portals in the sky, while the pancakes with abs rained from the sky on top of them. Then, a green tornado of lightning came out of the sky, and a high-pitched voice squeaked from within. This is my brother-in-law now. He wasn't at that point in time, but he is my brother-in-law, and he has a deep voice now, but he didn't, so... A high-pitched voice squeaked from within. I am Caleb! And then, just as it was there, it was gone. Well, that was random and utterly useless, Jaden said. This is fun, I thought. I had just completely wrecked, with a K, the Spanish Inquisition. It feels good to have power. I was smashing my way through the 972 levels of the Weird Al Castle, completely obliterating anything standing in my path. Each floor had increasingly harder bosses to completely crush. It was almost like an 80s style arcade game, or rather, Doom. I will note here that all of the said quote-unquote bosses still looked exactly like Weird Al, if he was buff. It was strangely hilarious, but also kind of scary. I mean, just picture Weird Al as a weightlifter. It gives me the chills. Really, really long chilly chills. But anyway, I was progressing very rapidly. Each level was really, really easy to crush. I was already at level 971. Here they had waiting for me to battle a big hunk of nothing. I looked around, wondering if there was some sort of mini-virus, coronavirus! Oh no! Okay, mini-virus that I had to fight or something, when more lightning came swirling down in front of me. What now? I thought. A smooth, silky, enticing, charming, beautiful, and melodious voice called from the storm. It's okay. You don't have to run anymore. If you come with me, I can show you how to go back home. Before I could consider accepting, there was a loud and repetitive banging sound, and the lightning tornado disappeared. King Weird Al stood where the tornado used to be, toting a large machine gun. Sorry, trigger happy, he said. I just couldn't stand it. I know you didn't do it. And it's time I explain everything. I just hope it's not too late. Too late for what? For your friend to return back in real time. You see, he's in terrible... Real time? What do you mean? Oh, well, you see, all the dimensions you have traveled to are alternate realities. However, these are only the what-if universes, not to be confused with Marvel's What If, which is streaming on Disney+. I didn't like the first episode, and I don't know that I'd like any of the rest of them, but that's irrelevant. What-if universes. In actual real time, these universes do not exist. We merely are the places real-timers concoct whenever they ask those what-if questions. For example, in this mirror reality, someone has asked the question, what would happen if Weird Al conquered the world? Of course, this is only one possibility, but this is what the person imagined what would happen, even if it is unrealistic. The only drawback to these universes is that whenever the real-timer who imagined this place passes on, the dimension ceases to exist, along with all other universes created by that being. That is why time, for us here, is sped up exponentially. For example, you've been here 10 hours, but in real time it's only been mere minutes, maybe even seconds, to whomever is at home on the real Earth. Everything mirrors and leads back to real time, which is why it is so important that I warn you. Great Scott, we haven't a moment to lose. We must hurry. I'm getting a British accent. Oh, okay. Let me try that again. I already messed it up. Great Scott! We haven't a moment to lose. We must hurry. I'm getting a British accent. I was very confused. Why should we hurry? I asked. Because you saved them. Saved who? You saved yourselves. You don't understand. What, you mean like Mike and Scotty? If we didn't, they'd have ended the whole timeline. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't have been able to go back to real time. King Weird Al's face grew white. What did you say? Mike and Scotty took us back to real time. What's wrong with that? Then all is lost. They have what they want. But of course you give it to them. You can't bear to see yourself die. I've seen it before. All of you. It happens every time. What do you mean? What did we do wrong? What is so bad about Mike and Scotty? King Weird Al paused for a moment. I'll tell you what you did wrong. You let them into real time. Why is that bad? Because you've served your purpose. What does that mean? It means, Jaden, that now you've finished your role. You are no longer needed for their plan. Now your friend is in grave danger. I tried to fully comprehend. When it finally hit me, King Weird Al verbalized my thoughts. They're going to kill you. Both of you. Back in real time. Jaden Gage is back at the headquarters, which Mike and Scotty have created using their riding powers. Him and the Taco brothers are at the main cannons at the top of the structure. Bum, bum, bum. Another one. Hold on. This can only be done properly if Bum, bum, bum. Another one bites dust, I said excitedly. Don't get cocky, kid, replied Lord Taco. I was just having some fun. Bro, there's a new shipment of them coming from the left side. Hit him with all you got. Yes, master, I said with respect. Or he said with respect. Meanwhile, on the mothership in space, the one carrying the aliens, Lord Cantaloupe walked to his projector room to meet with the Master of Time itself. As Lord Cantaloupe entered the room, a hologram appeared and revealed a man in a cloak with a hood. The man, or should I say, teen, spoke. It's almost time. I need you to send a new shipment of UFOs. I need you to destroy that base and everything on it. Except for Jaden, I need him in one piece. As you wish, Lord of Time. The hologram clicked off and Lord Cantaloupe left the room. Sergeant, said Lord Cantaloupe. Yes, sir. I need all your best troops on that base. All of them. Not a single soul is to be left. All I want is Jaden alive. You got it? Yes, Lord Cantaloupe. And he left. Back at the base, more and more ships came in. More than they could handle. Their cannons were suffering severe damage from all the ship's main blasters. Turn the shields on, Jaden, Lord Taco demanded. I can't. There seems to be no power in the system. Well, then use what you have, then I'll hold them off. Jaden fumbled around with the controls, disconnecting and reconnecting wires, all to find no use in doing so. He looked up at the other gunner to see his faithful master, slumped in his seat, dead, cheese everywhere, as the rest of the ships came zooming in. Jaden felt the urge to turn around, and as he did, he saw Mike, holding a syringe and plunging it into his throat. He blacked out. And who knows how many hours later, he woke up to see Scotty standing over him. His face contorted into a large, evil grin. Meanwhile, back on Weird Al World. So, remind me exactly how we're getting out of here again? I asked. King Weird Al had spent the last 12 hours leading me through uptown Weird Al City to an abandoned building which was small in size but underground was full of a labyrinth of long, dark caverns that seemed to go exactly to nowhere, USA. King Weird Al seemed intent on bringing me right to the center of, wherever we were. I didn't have a clue. Should be a few minutes now, and we'll find the door. I want to point out that Weird Al vaguely sounds like Ben Shapiro, in my opinion, from my own horrible interpretation of his voice. Basically what I mean is, when I mimic him, I sound like a horrible, weird Ben Shapiro Weird Al hybrid, and I don't like it. We walked through the long cavern for another half hour, and soon I was getting desperate at the thought that King Al had gotten us trapped inside an inescapable tunnel of doom. 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 Cookie. Doom. Suddenly, King Al stopped dead in his tracks and jumped to the floor. And sat on his hands and knees. For a brief moment I worried that he actually was dead when I saw his hands slowly running across the floor, looking for some sort of pattern or groove or something, indicating that he was very much alive. His hand stopped and he pressed on the floor hard. I heard a click and felt a very large shift in the floor. And then all of the caverns around us closed off. Several walls mechanically moved into place in front of our only escape. I heard a clang and felt a long, loud rush of air from above. I looked up to see what it was. Instantly I regretted it, as I discovered the rush of air came from a large, round, disc-like platform, a platform that was rapidly falling down to where me and King Al stood. "Hurry!" Al shouted. "Find the second grooves!" He flung himself to the floor, frantically searching for more indentations inside of the floor. I looked up to realize the platform was only a couple 100 feet above us, which meant it would take like maybe 30 seconds at most for it to land. I decided it was time to start searching for the grooves myself. "Why the heck was this rig to be so dangerous?" I shouted. "We need to make sure..." this is Al. "We needed to make sure nobody could get in and find the door." "You designed this?" No. Hold on, I found it!" In lightning speed, King Al grabbed me and pulled me under the small area where a few strange-looking grooves stood. I only had time to notice 3 long, scratch-shaped lines before I looked up to see the platform just inches above our heads. And then it landed. Back in real time again, Jaden continued to stare at Scotty while he proceeded to interrogate him. "If you don't tell me where your little friend is, I will have to torture you until you give up your secret." "I told you, man, I don't know anything about the whereabouts of Jaden, or if he's even alive," he replied in horror. "Well, if you're going to play the hard way, then I'll give it to you." At that moment, Scotty's bodyguards dragged him to a small room about the size of his bathroom. They sat him down and proceeded to tie him down with chains all the size of hot dogs, which, in his opinion, were still extremely heavy. As he observed the area around him, he contemplated what had just happened in the past 24 hours of torment and extreme fun, I guess you could say. It was crazy, all these portals taking everyone to different dimensions, and the Brotherhood of the Taco, and Jaden, myself, being gone. And now, he may die from torture. As soon as he thought of that, the guards started to whip his whole body with one of those leather whips that hurt really bad. They continued to punch, kick, cut, and whip until finally he gave up, which is really just faking because he didn't even know where I was. Okay, he said, barely audible. "I'll give up the secret." Myself and King Al were still inside the dark, cavernous area. I slowly lifted my head, realizing that I had crouched down and tucked my head into my arms to protect it from the heavy, fast-moving, falling platform. I jumped up and looked around, amazed to see that both of us were still alive. We were inside a very well-lit room, lit by hundreds of torches lining the walls that seemed to stretch up for miles. I turned to Al. "Explanation, now," I demanded. "What do you want to know?" "Well, we could start with, I don't know, maybe why you designed this place to be a giant death trap, why you're suddenly on my side, and why you took me down here anyway." "I already told you that. We're here to find the door." "What door?" "The door out of this mirror dimension. There's one in every dimension. The only way through it is to pass a series of tests, the first of which, here anyway, is to find the center of a nearly impossible labyrinth. The second, as we both know, is to find 2 sets of grooves in the floor, one of which activates the trap, and the other is where we must stand to activate the trapdoor in the falling hollow pillar so as not to become smushed meat. Great! So why'd you design it like this? I didn't. I tried to tell you earlier. Then who designed it? You did. What? Technically you did anyway. You from another dimension. You mean the evil one? No. If that were the case, we'd both be slowly burned to death. You see, every dimension is a what-if thought created by a person in real time. What your real-timers don't realize is you actually create different timelines whenever you think of that. Your brain automatically creates separate imaginary universes, which begins at the first word of God, but ends as soon as the person imagining passes on. Each timeline contains an exact replica of the real timeline, with the only exception being a deviation, an altered point where the mind has asked an what-if question. That means in each timeline, somewhere in history, you always exist unless the what-if question was one in which your ancestor dies or your parents never met. Okay, so which me designed this then? Well, I don't actually know. It wasn't a bad version of you as far as I know. There's only one bad version of you anyway. But we must focus on the task at hand and find the door. The door out of this dimension. No, the door to the next trial. It's in the wall somewhere next to one of the tunnels that we used to lead us to their labyrinth. Let's get started. And right now I'll warn you that the test will only get harder from here. In slight shock and huge disappointment, I proceeded to follow Al's current example of feeling around the wall for more grooves or buttons or levers or whatever it is we were supposed to find. Meanwhile, back to Jaden Gage. They drug him back to the Lord of Time's secret lair, which in his opinion was quite cool for a bad guy's quarters. They plopped him down in front of him, like he was a dead piece of meat. And honestly, that's how he felt. He looked up and found the Lord of Time standing over him. So, you decided to relieve yourself for the time being. I knew you were smart. You just weren't using your head at the moment. Now tell me where he is, and if you lie, you're going to face the combined power of all of us. He looked at him confused. And who might the other be? Wait. Oh, is Scotty the Lord of Time? Okay. And who might these others be that you have a link to? Never mind, Scotty said nervously. Anyway, you're going to tell me where he is. You know what is going to happen. Oh, you're going to tell me where he is, or you know what is going to happen. Hey, Jake! Yeah, do you not remember this, Jake? This basically is a weird Rick and Morty episode, yeah. Okay. So, let's just restart that sentence. Never mind, Scotty said nervously. Anyway, you're going to tell me where he is or you know what's going to happen. Fine. He's in the dimension in the far left of all the dimension universes, which is Weird Al Land. The Lord of Time looked at him for a long moment and then spoke. Guards, get Kebab and send your troops into Weird Al Land. We need to get Jaden before he escapes. What? Who's Kebab? He ignores me. Or he ignores Jaden, and the guard speaks. Yes, Lord Scotty. Your wish shall be granted. The guard left the room and prepared the troops for the invasion. This better work, punk, or you're gonna have it. Jaden nodded and left Jaden nodded and Scotty left him with the guards. Meanwhile, me and King Al. I hate these word crimes. Oh, that's incorrect grammar. Yes, me and King Al, I hate these word crimes, had just finished the 5th trial to get to the door. Half of them were math problems, all of which were very easy. And I was wondering whether or not anything would actually happen worth worrying about. Right about that time, as I wondered, King Al shouted, "Wait!" and practically pushed me into the ground. He then decided to kneel down and put some sand into a small bag, which he pulled out of his pocket. As we entered the next tunnel, he handed it to me and straightened out my Indiana Jones fedora hat. That's right, I used to wear that all the time. He then said, "You lead it. I don't want to die, and shoved me into the tunnel, which was very large inside and very spooky. It's let's make some eerie music. So we're going to make a little bit of eeriness. You ready for the eerie? There we go. Oh, crap. I already messed it up. That sucks. Oh, I turned the volume all the way down, that's why. There we go. You lead. I don't want to die. He shoved me into the tunnel, which was very large inside. Very spooky. I walked on slowly, knowing what happened in the indie movies if you took a wrong step. When I felt something on my back that gave me the chills. I cannot be held accountable for the things I said when I found out how many tarantulas were on my back. King Al did not care at all, and even laughed as he tried to bring me out of my state of shock. Father, if at all possible, take this cup from me, I shouted. Snap out of it, the king shouted. You can beat this. You can beat the rest. I have faith in you. A little. He then picked me up and pushed me forward. I guess it was kind of lucky that he did, because I just so happened to fall right underneath the classic spear coming out of the wall to mutilate you trap, which would have destroyed me had he not shoved me. Thanks, I whispered, near a state of shock again. Don't mention it, said Al. We kept walking throughout the cave, and after about 5 minutes we found a large, well-lit hallway made of stone, with several holes in the wall. Foot-shaped grooves in the ground and letters on the floor. I know how this works, I said. If you land on the foot-shaped marks, arrows will come out of the wall. If you land on the wrong letters, the panel falls from beneath you into some pit of doom. Doom. Cookie. Doom. Yep, that's right. Like I said, you go first. So I did. I was careful to avoid the footmarks, also remembering that the correct words from Indiana Jones 3 was Jehovah, spelled with an I at the beginning. It took a long time jumping from letter to letter without landing on the foot-shaped marks, and a couple of times I nearly fell onto the wrong letters. I landed on the J heavy enough to cause its panel to go crashing down below and reveal what was underneath. Snakes. Lots of deadly snakes. Just my luck. Yeah, well, how's about you make all the wrong panels fall away so I don't land on them? Because I hate snakes. Sure, Al, whatever the heck you want. I had to wait a while when I reached the end because I had to direct Al across the panels. Inform him that he was indeed jumping on the right panel, and no, he wasn't going to die. After he made it over to my side, he sighed in relief and proceeded to say, Now, it's time for that last trial. It's right through that door. Without any more discussion, we turned and walked into the dark cylindrical room to face whatever awaited us inside. Alright. Spookiness over. We're going back to Jaden Gage. I have no idea how long this live stream's been going, but I've been freaking enjoying it. Holy crap. Wait, when did I start? It's only been about an hour. It's fine. Alright. Did Jake leave? You suck. Whoever left, you suck. The Lord of Time grabbed Jaden by the arm and took him aboard the ship they had prepared for the occasion, which he has pronounced as the end of the world itself. On board the ship at the control station, they chained Jaden to the wall for him to not cause any trouble. Of course, Lord Scotty seemed to be waiting for someone when all of a sudden the door opened at the back of the ship. A small... Gosh dang it. A small, skinny figure in a dark hood swaggered over to where Lord Scotty and Jaden Gage were. The kid spoke with the squeaky, high-pitched voice. Gosh dang it. Brother, the portal should be ready in minutes. I should have enough power to gosh dang it. I should have enough power left to teleport us there. Good. Tell the gunners that I don't want anything left of the dimension except for Jaden. Yes, brother. The voice squeaked from the hood. I stared in awe as he walked to some other door in the ship. Is that? Jaden said, suddenly cut off by Scotty. I'm sorry, I keep speaking from first person because that's how freaking Jaden wrote it. Shut up or you die. Jaden took his advice. And to his shock, he didn't die. Minutes later, purple and yellow lightning appeared in front of the ship they were in, and the Lord of Time proceeded to enter. In a couple of seconds, the ship entered what was known as Weird Al Land. It was a very strange place filled with houses shaped like Weird Al's head. And to top it off, everyone looked like Weird Al, which, in Jaden Gage's opinion, is quite disturbing. By the way, this is a note from him. I will read it in first person because this is a personal note from him. If I can find it because I lost my place. By the way, it's kind of weird having my evil self in the room next to me at the same time. I mean, we're practically the same, except he's evil. Yeah. The next few minutes that Jaden Gage we're about to experience were going to be the most horrific moments of his life. Okay. This is going to be... What? Pretty sure I just heard somebody talking. I bet my wife's home and she's listening in the other room just to be freaking embarrassing. No. Well, that's terrifying. I'm fairly sure I just heard some kind of a voice somewhere. Is this one of those live streams that like cuts out and I'm dead? I really hope not. Well, we're gonna do what every good idiot in a horror film does, and keep going. Alright. So now, this is gonna be horrific. Horrendous. The worst thing that Jaden Gage has ever seen. The next few minutes that Jaden Gage we're about to experience were going to be the most horrific minutes of his life. All of a sudden, explosions were happening everywhere. houses destroyed. Hundreds of thousands of people dead. You can't do this to these people. You don't know what you're doing. You're killing off so many what-if universes at this very moment. Trillions of people are... How does he know about what-if... Hold on. How does he know about what-if universes? And how is that still playing? Because I turned the volume off. Whatever. Okay, apparently Jaden Gage knows about what-if universes. What do I know? You can't do this to these people. Do you know what you're doing? You're killing off so many what-if universes at this very moment. Trillions of people are dying, all because you want my friend. This is madness. Shut up, punk! And Scotty, Lord of Time, and his gunners went to town on the world. They stopped at one of the buildings in the city. It looked incredibly different from the others. And the person who Jaden's pretty sure is Caleb walked into the room, which, by the way, he is, who is now my brother-in-law, so this is really freaking weird and funny, because he's like the opposite of how he is in the story now. Is that one of them? Asked Scotty. Yes, indeed it is. Jaden created these a long time ago, probably when the first alternate dimension return portal was created. He added these to every dimension in the imaginary universe. And we must find Jaden before he escapes this dimension. Ready the troops and take the chains off of Jaden. We're gonna need him. This is back to me and Weird Al. What we found in the room, this chamber, was nothing at all like what I expected. I mean, I probably should have expected it, but I didn't. It was an exact replica of the Holy Grail room from Indiana Jones 3. I was beginning to wonder when the Temple of Doom would fall into place and foolishly grabbed the first cup. Oh, when Al foolishly grabbed the first cup he saw. You idiot! I shouted. Now we're gonna die! Now you're gonna die! No, I'm not. This merely activates the last stage. Of what? It's activated already. I can't explain. Just don't try to find any buttons on the walls. I tried to ask for further explanation when I heard another ominous click above my head. The spike ceiling trap from Indy 2 just activated, which of course was heading straight down to us. Don't just stand there, I shouted. Do something. Al, of course, did nothing at all and just looked at his watch as if waiting for something to happen. I began looking for a button to deactivate the trap, and to my satisfaction, I found one. Before I could even touch it, I felt something that was very much like a fist hitting my jaw. It felt that way because it was, in fact, a fist hitting my jaw. What the heck? That was a text from like a week ago. Whatever. Okay, anyway. Oh. I guess it just happened. Whatever. Screw it. I got punched in the face by Weird Al. That's all you need to know. Dude! I shouted. What the heck? Al responded quickly. If you press the button, everything will fail and the trap will work. Just sit tight. It should be ready in 5. A few long spikes to touch the floor, leaving enough space for me, or for frickin' heck. Leaving enough space for me and Al only to sit a few, what? Oh, to sit on, gosh, dang. If you press the button, everything will fail and the trap will work. Just sit tight. It should be ready in 5. A few long spikes to touch the floor, leaving enough space for me and Al only to sit hunched underneath the spikes. 4. I shifted into position where I was laying down. 3. I wouldn't recommend laying down. 2. The spikes were now pressing into Al's head. 1. Suddenly, in places where the long spikes were pressed against the floor, large cracks started forming, snaking straight to us. Before I could speak, the floor had fallen, sending us plummeting into a shaft below. I landed in a very uncomfortable position in a minecart. I told you not to lay down, Al said. Now, as I recall, yeah, we're getting closer to the end of the story, at least where we last left off. or where we last left off, like riding. So back to Jaden's perspective. They took off into the building, going into the basement. They discovered a complex labyrinth in the basement, and they continued down the complex system of caverns and tunnels. As they continued, Jaden was starting to wonder what happened if he was wrong, if I was there. At that exact moment, Scotty created some sort of force field around them. He made some sort of green substance. All of a sudden, the troops, Kebab, Scotty, and, of course, Jaden Gage, could now move at the speed of light. They zoomed through the complex maze that Jaden barely got to see because they were moving at the speed of light. Anyway, they finally came to a room full of cups and spears hanging from the ceiling and a massive hole. "Hand me that torch, Kebab," said Scotty. He handed it to Scotty, of course, and then proceeded to lower the torch into the pit. And the last thing that Jaden saw was my face, before Scotty and his men quickly descended into the massive hole. Oh, this is getting intense. I completely forgot how freaking insane I made this story with the guys. Okay. Before I could respond to Al, who was very ticked off at that minecart, who I was very ticked off at, the minecart lurched forward down a massive slope not unlike that of the Fury's first slope in the Carowinds. I caught up in the moment, started laughing hysterically at the speed and sheer awesomeness of it. I was laughing so hard, I was completely oblivious to the two Jadens chasing me down, followed by an army of space aliens from some alternate dimension. Al, however, was not oblivious. "Can we speed this thing up?" he shouted. "It's pretty fast already," I said. "I mean, there might be something I have that could speed this up, but I don't know. Maybe my rocket launcher could help?" "You have a rocket launcher?" "Yeah, I got it on Earth too. Pretty cool, huh?" "Don't use it until we absolutely need to. What else do you have?" "I have those Doritos I forgot to eat and some cheese." "You got them from Earth too?" "Yeah, the box of secrecy." "Uh-huh. Then they have some powerful properties. Use the Doritos as shurikens to ward our pursuers." "What pursuers?" "Your friend behind us." I turned to see what was behind us, and to my dismay, I saw a giant army of aliens with Scotty and a person who looked very much like Ryan Reynolds. Oh my. With Scotty and a person who looked very much like a Ryan Reynolds Sharpay mix. By the way, this is Jaden Gage, even though my character doesn't know it, but he's just so mutilated from the torture that he looks essentially like Wade Wilson in the Deadpool movie. And he was standing at Scotty's side. "Shoot," I whispered. We descended down the dark shaft, which was kind of crammed in my opinion. With great speed, Scotty and his army raced after myself. "Oh, this is Jaden Gage. Gosh dang it." They descended down the dark shaft, which was kind of crammed in Jaden's opinion. With great speed, Scotty and his army raced after me. In the process of getting down, Jaden got smashed into a wall. A banana was shoved in his mouth, and someone took his shoe. They hit the bottom and proceeded to chase after me. At that moment, Scotty deployed his force field around them and his army. Racing throughout the tunnel, still pursuing myself, they saw a cart up ahead when a Dorito sank into Jaden's internal organs. My Dorito shuriken hit Jaden's organs. Judah, this was the weirdest time you could have joined the chat. I'm just saying. But yes. So to catch you up, Judah, watch the live stream later. That's what will catch you up. "Great shot," shouted Al. "I know, right? Don't get cocky." "I'm not being cocky." "Hey, don't get whiny either. I hate whiners." I gave up the argument and proceeded to throw more Doritos and slices of cheese at our pursuers. Apparently, the cheese would melt upon impact to any evil substance and would freeze and permanently attach to whoever decided it was evil. It was very odd when I threw some cheese at the Ryan Reynolds Sharpay man and nothing happened. I simply threw a boatload more Doritos at him. Oh no! Oh no! Still in shock from the first hit, Jaden Gage continuously got stabbed with even more Doritos, making the pain unbearable. His legs gave out from under him. Kebab picked him up, and they continued the chase. Why did this turn off? Oh, there we go. He almost blacked out when he had the most evil idea he could think of for payback against whoever threw those frickin' Doritos. He started by repeating the magic line. Poodle, oh poodle, come from the sky like a heavenly frog with diabetes. And the taco was in play. Where have I heard that before, I said. What? We're going too fast for me to hear anything that isn't in all caps, Al said. Oh, sorry, he just said, poodle, oh poodle, come out of the sky like a heavenly frog with diabetes. What the heck does that mean? Al said. I don't know. Suddenly, there was yet another cracking sound, followed by an explosion. Before I could respond, another explosion rocked our side, and the ceiling caved in, revealing the giant taco heading for my face. I braced for impact when suddenly I heard the sound of the ceiling in front of us caving in, revealing yet another taco, accidentally summoned by my magic words. Both tacos collided, filling the whole room with cheese, making it impossible to tell what to aim for with my Dorito shurikens. The cheese slowed us all down tremendously, so I could speak in normal font again. Should I just blow them up with my rocket launcher? I asked. No, save it for when I tell you to fire. Now hold it. The aliens and Scotty and creepy face the Doggo Man were all gaining on us. Hold it. The door's not that far from here. Scotty and his creepy friends were now 10 feet away. Hold it. 5, 4, 3. Scotty was at arm's length. 2. I felt the cart go off the tracks and we started plummeting into a deep hole. 1. Fire at the door as soon as we enter it. Won't that kill us? There's about a 50-50 chance that will happen. Now shoot. I saw a whirlpool of blue form in front of us. Knowing what would follow us if I didn't do what Al said, I fired as soon as we hit the blue. The end. JK tra-la-la-la-la. Did we really do that? Hey, Jake, if you're still watching right now, just as a spoiler for you, this next page, I'm pretty sure, introduces you. I'm pretty sure it's not the character version of you. It's just you. Being you. Which is, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Yes, it does! It does! Oh, this is gonna be fantastic. This is gonna be really freaking fantastic. Alright. I turned around to make sure nobody was following us and just caught a glimpse of the portal closing forever behind us and heard something that kind of sounded like the words, "No, not again! You will pay dearly for it!" And then the portal closed, leaving us in a swirling tunnel of pure blue, hopefully heading back to Earth. It was going to be a long, bumpy ride. Jaden's POV again. The taco came through the roof of the cave, smashing in what appeared to be... Gosh dang it, I don't need any more emails. Smashing in what appeared to be another taco. Oh! Oh, shoot! Okay, so I'm just going to read it from Jaden's perspective and stop trying to read it from mine, because he's actually telling the story of what just happened. The taco came through the roof of the cave, smashing in what appeared to be another taco. After that, the cheese was everywhere. On me, Scotty, Kebab, the entire army. We tried to run, but the cheese was too thick, slowing us down tremendously. I watched as Weird Al and Jaden jumped through the portal, the blue window sucking them in. And then there was a loud boom, and the portal closed. Scotty raged at the fact that they had gotten away, pulled out some sort of saber and proceeded to destroy the walls and kill a couple of the alien soldiers with it. After he was done with the business, Scotty spoke up. Kebab, it's time to unite the brothers together. I want them on the scene in the next 24 hours. Kebab nodded. We all headed back to the ship. On board, they left me in a room, alone, handcuffed to a bed. I thought about the Doritos in my organs. Whether or not Jaden, myself, me, did this to me, Jaden Gage, on purpose. Or because he just couldn't recognize his friend who looked like a moldy potato. For the first time in the last 7 hours, Mike entered the room. With an evil smirk on his face, he approached my cot. I'm going to pause this real quick. I am getting a phone call that I need to answer. Give me just a sec. That's wrong. Frick. Here we go. Alright. Give me just a sec. Alright, I'm back. My wife is coming home, which is cool. The story's almost over anyway. So, for the first time in the last 7 hours, Mike entered the room. With an evil smirk on his face, he approached Jaden Gage's cot. "Hello, old friend," Mike said. "Why should I talk to you? You beat my face to a bloody pulp, to the point where I'm not even recognizable. You've killed millions of people, and of course, you killed my master, Lord Taco. I know all that, but I don't care, because now you're one of us." Before Jaden had time to reply, Mike pulled out another syringe and stabbed him in the arm. He felt himself falling in the black as soon as the needle hit. He continued to fall faster and faster until he hit the bottom. The last thing he saw was Jaden, and the last thing that he saw was me and another him tied up in a room, being threatened by Scotty himself. Before he could ask anything, he was out cold. So if that's confusing, what just happened was Jaden Gage got knocked out with knockout syringe serum. Was locked in a cell, and he sees yet another set of alternate universe us's. Are they the real us's? Are they fake? Are they also evil? Wait and find out. I don't think we ever finished the story, so you might never know. And now we get to the blue text, which is the best text, because this is where Jake decided to come in. This is Jake. Meanwhile, Jake was minding his own business, sitting on his couch, spinning a fidget spinner in one hand, watching a YouTube video in the other. All of a sudden, a strange whirlpool appeared in his living room, and from it, Weird Al and myself flew out and landed on the couch across from him. At this point, Jake may have let out a small girlish scream that sounded like, that laugh from that video from a long time ago where I talked about how it was a manly laugh in pink text, but he quickly recovered. Oh gosh. Oh, that hurts. Okay, Al, how you doing? Al waited just a little bit before responding. Another one rides a bus. Okay, what the actual heck just happened? Please tell me that was a magic portal, and that is actually Weird Al, said Jake. King, Al said. What? It's King, Weird Al. I'm the king of Weird Al land, so call me King. Well, King Weird Al, that is. Is this guy legit crazy or what? He said, looking at me. Well, He's not insane, but he's not exactly the smartest nut around. He can be a bit of a jerk, though. Hey! Al shouted. You still haven't answered my question, what the actual heck? I don't know what an actual heck is, I don't know what an actual heck is either. So, I can't answer that. Okay, what were you doing before you got here? Well, my house exploded, Jaden was sent to Earth 2, I was sent to Five Nights at Freddy's, then Weird Al Land, and the evil Us has chased us through Weird Al Land to an interdimensional portal that led to your house. By the way, Al being here is proof of this, and the fact that we fell through in a portal is also proof of this, so don't accuse us of being on any kind of drugs. Jake sat there quietly for about a minute, just staring at both of us, not sure what to make of it. So why are you here, he asked. Well, how else could you be part of this story, Jake? Fair point, he replied. So what's next? Ask Al, he's the one who brought me here. He can do the explaining. Al said nothing. If you want to know anything, ask, he said. Okay, you said Jaden went to Earth 2, so does that mean you met the Flash? No. Next question. Ow! Fine. Our next course of action is to find yourselves. Happy? Find ourselves? Jake asked, still puzzled. I responded, like our inner selves? Like a Mormon? Mormons don't do that. Really? I could have sworn it was Mormons. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. You're confusing them with hippies. I think you're confusing hippies with Mormons. No, Mormons are weird, but they don't believe that. You're wrong. Siri, do Mormons believe in finding your inner self? Guys, Al shouted. I'm sure you two are very content arguing about philosophies right now, but I wish to live out the rest of my life. Thank you very much. Well, you could tell us what you meant by finding ourselves. What the heck does that even mean? I replied. Oh, that's me. It means we must find you. You, Jake, Jaden, Halden, Noah, and Caleb are the keys to this all. Oh, really? I can just call them now if you'd like, because I have them all in my contacts, except Bingham's. Jake, you got Bingham's? No, but Jessen knows it. Al waited for us to stop before saying, I don't mean finding yourselves here. You already know where they are. I mean finding yourselves from the future. Of course, to find them, we're going to have to find a time machine, and finding the rest of you in the future is going to be tough enough. As it is, after all, after it happened. Wait, so the guys and I were around for it? In the future? I can explain later. Right now, we need to get going. Road trip, sweet dibs on the Pringles. Siri, where is the nearest DeLorean? Jake said. Okay, Captain Flapjacks, here's what I found, she replied. Without any further delay, we all ran to the driveway, hopped into Jake's truck, and headed down to the nearest DeLorean. And all things time machine dealership, because those exist in real life. Oh, okay. So, we're on... Oh, shoot. This might be the last couple pages. Jeez. Oh, there's so many fonts. That means there's a lot of characters and POVs, and this is going to be pain. What page is this? What page is this? I need to know. Is this... I don't know what page we're on. Okay. We're just gonna send and just keep going. Pain seared through Jaden Gage's entire body as he woke from the blackness. He looked around and wondered where the heck he was, why he was strapped to a chair. Every movement stung like a cacti after you rolled around in it for 8 hours. And then he tried to pull the spines out. He got up and saw a mirror opposite of him in the room. He walked over to it and discovered that's exactly what he looked like. Oh, hold on. I need to read this just from Jim. Pain seared through my entire body as I awoke from the blackness.
I looked around and wondered where the heck I was, why I was strapped to a chair. Every movement stung like cacti after you rolled around in it for 8 hours and tried to pull the spines out. I got up and saw a mirror opposite me in the room. I walked over to it and discovered that's exactly what I looked like. You know, like I'd rolled around in cacti and plucked the spines out of myself. I proceeded to observe the world around me. It was a small room with the chair, obviously. Besides that, there was not much else to look at besides the mirror. I had to note it was an ugly mirror. Not because of my face in it, in case one of you annoying people who think exactly like I do was wondering. Although granted, my face looked pretty dang ugly, like I will have nightmares that I am chasing myself into a statue of my head that has flames burning in the back of its throat. I am that ugly. Hey, I hate to bother you, but you should stop talking about your ugly face. Which, by the way, is crazy ugly. I'd hate to be you. Except I kind of am you, so that kind of stinks for me. Anyway, assess the situation and get the heck out of here. Well, there's a door, a chair, a mirror, my ugly face. Your grammar is terrible, in writing at least. Why do you care about my grammar? Who is this anyway? I am your conscience, and oh, that grammar is spelled with an A-R. I have a conscience? Okay, that's good to know. Well, you can forget about it. I am not your conscience. I am a little annoying voice in your head. Now, I think that you should do what I say, and the first thing I will say is look back about 9 or 10 sentences ago. Somewhere in there is the key to our escape. Flashback music. Well, there's a door, chair, a mirror, and my ugly face. Your grammar is terrible, in writing at least. Oh yes, I'm stupid. Darn right, shut up anyway. Well yes, this is the door. Where the heck am I going to be when I enter the outside world of this door? Where the heck am I? Your grammar. Anyway, maybe China? Whatever, conscience, I said to myself. I am not your conscience. I say our first course of action will be to bust down the door, run through the halls, and scream, "Watermelon!" really loudly, and then we can make a plan. Fine, I replied. Oh my gosh, the comma goes in. Sign the quotation mark. Proceeding as instructed. Insert comma here. I bust down the door and ran through the halls of a mysterious complex and yelled, "Watermelon!" being an idiot and running down the halls. In my opinion, was amusing to my inner self. Okay, now we need a plan. Well. Before I could think of something to say, an alarm sounded off through the whole complex. Oh, shoot. That's not exactly what I was thinking, but it'll work. Now, can you explain why nobody has shown up? Weird, right? It's almost as if the riders were too lazy to ride in any soldier extras. Now, where in the bananas am I? For hours and hours, I searched the complex, looking for some form of life. All that was found in 3/4 of those hours was empty rooms filled with files and computers. Finally, I came into something that caught my attention. It was a giant laundry room filled with zucchini, and loads of it. I entered wondering, who has an obsession with zucchini? As I approached the laundry chute, I began to hear voices below. All of a sudden, the chute became a giant vacuum and proceeded to suck me down the chute. Sliding down the uncomfortable snake of dirty tubes, I came to the end, falling until I hit the ground. I picked myself up and realized I'd landed into a chair, which was accompanied by a large table and more chairs. Ah, what? You walk into a laundry room and the first thing that pops in your head is, oh hey, look, a laundry chute. I wonder what'll happen if I jump into it head first with no knowledge of what is down below. Are you out of your mind? Okay, for one, I don't know anything that has happened at all. 2, I have no brain knowledge of anything. Oh. Oh god, this is way behind. This is way back during the phone call. Oh, never mind. I'm just 12 minutes behind in the live stream. My bad. Okay, for one, I don't know anything that has happened at all. 2, I have no brain knowledge of anything. So please don't blame me. 3, what the heck? Before the voice in my head could answer, another voice in the room, the same room, of which we had neglected to check in case there were dangerous people, interrupted us in a tone that sounded like it was dangerous. And a person. Our package has arrived, brothers. Now answer this. This is for posterity. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel? Hello, hi, can I interrupt for a second? I am this poor, scarred, ugly, unnamed man on this chair right here's annoying voice that lives in his head, or on his thumb. I have taken the time to notice that both of your conversations are in the same color font. Are you talking to yourself, or are there two people here? Can we change the other guy's font color, please? Dude, I'm trying to have a conversation here. Yeah, well, I didn't know that because both of you have the same font color. So when I'm reading your sentences, it's like, hey, I'm talking. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. But I can't tell if I'm talking to myself or two different people. See how annoying it is? Can you please change it? Fine, but be nice and shut up. From this point on, Scotty's font will be changed forever. Period. Oh, yes, I said to the man who everyone else other than me knows as Scotty, Lord of Time. You're asking me a question. My answer is pretty dang awful, thank you very much. You're welcome. Scotty, I still don't know who Scotty yet, said. Yeah, thanks, not. For now, we should discuss the future of yourself and what that deal is, said Scotty. Still don't know who he is from my point of view, just saying. First, you are no doubt wondering what your name is and most definitely have no knowledge in your slightly terrifying head. Would you like us to grant you the knowledge of life? Okay, well, first off, where the heck am I? It's a yes or no question. Is where the heck am I a yes or no? Okay, yes, I want to know what my name is and all that, and where the heck I am. Why the heck is the laundry room full of zucchini doing here? Your grammar's still terrible. Did you miss me? For one, what did I miss in my grammar? Two, you interrupted my conversation. Too many commas, not enough sentences. Even if you did it right, I would still think it's terrible because I'm an annoying voice in your head. It's what we do. Call 666-2634 for our services. You poo! Ahem, said Scotty. Oh, sorry for the interruption. It's just a wee bit crazy up in my head. Anyway, what were you saying? Oh, yes. I was explaining everything you don't remember. First, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Did I miss something here? Because I have a feeling we're on the wrong track. You know all that? Like history, science, math, all that? I don't know, because you seem to be the kind who's forgotten, like, everything. Well, dude, I'm not that stupid. Now, will you please fill me in on my personality and, like, everything I do? Okay, so you like to... Wait! Another voice interrupted. I know everything about this kid, Scotty. Let me tell him. Fine. Great, thanks, Scotty. Anyway, you, the nameless, ugly, scary one, your name, from the day you were born, is and was and still is Wade Winston Wilson. You like to make really stupid jokes, usually ones that make everyone in the world cringe at, laugh at, scoff at, and cry at all at once. You have a strange infatuation with unicorns and chimichangas, and to top that off, you think you do not exist. You can converse with supposed readers or listeners of the live stream or story and have weird voices in your head. You can also fight like a ninja. Samuel L. Jackson, Jackie Chan, Rambo, and Batman put into one spandex-covered character. You also have a feeling factor that makes Wolverine go, I wish I had those powers, bub. So yeah, that's the gist of it. What reason do you want me, though? Okay, here's the deal. You're a mercenary who we need to track down and kidnap some friends of ours. The thing is, we found you after this kid over here, the figure from whom the second voice came and pointed at the one known as Scotty, have been working on giving you these powers. It didn't end well for you, though. You died a couple times. It was his fault each time. Dude! Play along with him, man, or he won't get into character. Anyway, wait. We managed to rescue you from this terrible man. And now, we have saved you. You owe us, so if you could give us a hand with our buddies that we need to kidnap, it would be appreciated. Also, the kid next to me who did all this to you, Mike, you're such a liar. His name isn't Scotty. It's Ajax. The figure paused and leaned over to whisper, Don't tell anyone. But his name is Francis. Come on, man! Hey, my wife's home. That's alright. It's been only 2 hours anyway. I'll have to get back to this another time. How many pages we got left? We still got a handful of pages. What is happening with all these pages? Okay, this is going to be comedy gold. But for now, I must bid you adios. Next time, we will be reading the last 3 pages of the story. And, with those last 3 pages, we'll have to figure out where to go from here. Are we going to write the story more? Are we going to gather in a live stream podcast together over a phone call and write the story or tell the story all at once? I don't know. Somebody comment and decide for me. Alright. That's about it. See ya. Gosh damn.